Good morning. Good morning. Here we are. It's a beautiful sunshiny day here in the Pacific Northwest, and I hope the weather is calming wherever you are. It's going to be a hot one today and here, and I just hope that all the bad weather is over and that people can get back to their normal lives. So, what have we got going this morning? Well, let me tell you. First, I'll do a little housekeeping um, while people come in. So you can post your questions or your live answers or a specific answer to your personal life or the US or globally, whatever you would like. Go ahead and post that in the comments and I'll try to get to it. Make sure you subscribe so you don't get left out when I do another reading. Now, I do these regular lives every Sunday at 11 a.m. If you just happened upon this and you're watching the replay, you can go down in the description and find out the topic that you're interested in and skip forward to that if you would like. But be sure to subscribe after that and hit that little notification bell, and that'll let you come back in the next time I go live. Okay, so I'm working right now with what's called the Literary Witches Oracle cards, and I haven't used these in a live reading before, so I'm going to see what they're talking to us about today. So we've had some interesting things come up. As I predicted last week, E. Jean Carroll did win her case against Trump for the $5 million for sexual abuse and defamation of character. The appeals court denied Trump's appeal, and so he needs to pay her $5 million. There's no more appeals left. And it's finally over for that trial. And I'm glad to see that E. Jean Carroll got justice. And $5 million to Trump is nothing, but it is something when someone gets held accountable who has not been held accountable. And so we need to celebrate that. You also have to remember that she's got another lawsuit for defamation from him for 83.5 or $83.3 million still on the books. It is in appeals right now. So we'll see how that one goes. Now, E. Jean Carroll is not looking to get rich. She just wanted the first lawsuit, right? She wanted to say, be accountable for what you did to me. And that $5 million was that. But Trump couldn't stop talking. He called her all kinds of names, said, oh, she's not my type. I've never met her before. And he kept going on and on and on. If he would have been very quiet, he would have saved himself a lot of grief, because the $5 million now is an 83 million, some odd million. As I say that so casually, some odd million amount. Life-changing amount to me, but to him, maybe not so much. But $83 million just because he couldn't keep his mouth shut and he kept defaming her over and over and over. She is still to this day getting death threats every single day. And that's what happens when you take on someone that's such high profile, but she felt she needed to do that. She has suggested that the money that she gets is going to go to sexual abuse victims and things like Planned Parenthood, I think, things like that. So it isn't like she's in it to get wealthy. She's in it to help others who, like her, were denied justice for so long. Anyway, I predicted that and it came true. So there you go. Chalk one up for me. Slap myself for pride. Anyway, so today I have some more questions. So what's happening with the economy? That was the question that someone had asked. So I am going to answer that one right now. Now we have I think it's the 15th. So in a couple of days, we're going to have the CPI and the PPI index coming out. And those are the consumer price index. And what happens is if they go up, that means our inflation rate is going up. And if they go down, that means our inflation rate is going down. So there are a lot of dire warnings out there that we're going into a recession. And I have a recession or not a depression, but that our economy is going down. We certainly have seen prices go up, and on a lot of things. I about fell over when I went to get gas the other day because it had raised an entire $1 in a week. So let's see what the oracle cards have to say about our economy. You know, this affects everything from shelter, energy, food, everything. Okay, the first one is the stall. That's ends and endings and beginnings. So it may be the end of one economic period and into the beginning of another one. And what is the beginning of this one? This one is Anna. This is a literary author, and so that's what these cards are. Anna Akhmatova, and it's called Endurance. So it looks like that we may be in for a long haul of tightening our belts. Let's think about not all those consumer purchases that are just for fun. Let's hold off on those. Let's be, I don't know the word for it. Let's be more tight with our money. Let's put it that way. Let's not go out. And I noticed that during Amazon Prime Day, they said that it was 40% down. 40% is a lot. People are holding on to their money, and Amazon is really going to be hurting from that. The next card I have is Emily Dickinson, The Soul. So Emily was she had all of this poetry in her, but she was surrounded by a family, particularly a father who was very hard on her, thought it was an embarrassment that his daughter wrote poems and actually wanted to have them published. So she wrote her poems, but she stuffed them away, and they really weren't published until after her death. So I think that how that relates to our economy is that, we're going to have to be holding on to things that this power is greater than us, that we right now, instead of fighting it, we need to just hold on to it and for later. Okay, let's hold on to it for later. It sounds like we're are going into a new era. We are going to have to endure for a while, and to hold on to our assets, the things that we love and take care of. Let's take care of those. So that's what I'm getting for that. So how about you guys? Have you noticed the change in the economy where you live? Are you living in an area where it really doesn't matter as much, or like I live in a rural area, and I've noticed that there are a lot more people that are active in bartering and auctioning. So what happens is people are willing to let go of some things in trade for something else they want rather than using their dollars. In an auction, it's kind of the same way. It's what the willing, let's see, how would they put it? The willing seller will sell and the willing buyer will buy. There's not a set price. Like if you go into a retail store, you can back out of an auction at any time. You just put your hand down. So there's a lot more of that going on right now here in this rural area. How about you? Do you have that kind of stuff where you live? I'd really be interested to know. Leave some comments down below if you find that happening. In fact, I just traded some, I have chickens. What chicken lady doesn't have chickens? I have chickens. I just traded some chicken eggs for some socks. Now I know that it's summer and I'm not going to need socks right now, but someone had them and I have plenty of eggs, and I thought, well, I'm going to need those this winter, so I traded them off. Tell me what kinds of things like that you're doing. Okay, so next thing I want to talk about is Jeffrey Epstein. Now, Jeffrey Epstein's been in the news. It's a big brouhaha. What's going on with Jeffrey Epstein? I'm not even going to do these cards on this one. I'm going to do my steampunk cards. See if I can show these to you. There you go. I really like those steampunk cards, and let's use those. Tell me about Jeffrey Epstein. Will we ever see the Epstein list? Wheel of Fortune. Wheel of Fortune is the first card up. So the Wheel of Fortune, it kind of depends. The things go around. As the administration changes, it's possible. There is some sort of, there is a, I really feel like the answer is yes. But, it's not now. I don't think we're going to get a list out of the Trump administration. We might get something, but it's not a list. And what I get here next is the Seven of Wands. Now, the Seven of Wands has to do with perseverance and standing their ground. And that's exactly what they're going to do. They're just going to plant their feet in and say, no, we're not giving out anything. There isn't anything to give out. The Trump administration is not going to do that. And we have the Four of Wands. Now, fours are, let's see if I can get this up here. Fours are generally stability and structure there. But you can see that the structure is upside down. So this administration is just, can they do anything more that's wrong? It's like everything they do is upside down of what it should be done, the way it should be done. Are they incompetent, or are they doing this on purpose? Epstein files. Well, there definitely are files. Yeah, there is a list of contacts or clients or whatever. And there's also the compromise on them. So whatever he had on these people in that safe, remember that Jeffrey Epstein had a safe, and who had access? A guy was named Peck. Remember, he had access to that safe. Anyway, and everything was missing out of there. Still, I wonder if we haven't heard about him for a while. I wonder if we can maybe do a little thing about Peck. So let's see what he said, what it says here. What's his name? I can't remember what his first name is. Peck. Does he have the list? A copy of the list? Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands is, I would say that's a yes. He took them impulsively, I think, but now he's afraid to bring them out. So, oh yeah. And this is why. Ten of Swords. So the Ten of Swords is the end of it, betrayal, and he's afraid that he's probably been told, we bring these things out in the open and that's the end of you, buddy. So, yeah, I don't think we're going to get them from him either. So, one thing that I want to know, let's see if I can get some answer to. I have had this feeling forever that Jeffrey Epstein's not dead. Now, I know they have had an autopsy, and I know they hauled him out of there and they took pictures. But we aren't seeing, just with that jail thing that got released, we're seeing what they want us to see, but we're not. And every time people are covering up something like that, that's when I really, really, I had this inkling way before, even way back in the beginning. But the more they try to cover it up, the more I feel justified in believing that he is still alive out there. So what would he have to do? He'd have to come up with a whole new identity, right? He could do surgery to change his face, his appearance. Maybe dye his hair, get hair plugs, grow it long. I don't know, grow a beard, all that kind of stuff. I imagine he had tons of money. I don't think money would be a problem, and he probably had it stashed in places that nobody would ever even know. So he's probably got plenty of money to back him up to get the surgery and to find him a place to hole up for the rest of his life. Now, he had that island. Did he have another? I think he had a couple of islands. He may have had islands that we didn't even know about. He could be living his life, with a margarita and his feet up somewhere. So, remember that guy, McAfee, who was hiding out, I think, in Belize? I mean, he eventually got caught. He had tons of money, but he was kind of crazy and would chase people down the beach and, cause confrontations so that he wasn't, noticed. I think Jeff is smarter than that. And I think he's if he's still alive, he's hidden somewhere. He would also have to have cut off entirely with his family. I don't think that's so hard to do. He only had a brother, I believe, and the brother didn't even go to the autopsy. A brother's representative went to the autopsy to confirm it was him. So whether he was fooled or whether he was in on it, I don't know. But I think he could say to his brother, "I'm in trouble. I'm got to get out of here. I may never see you again. I love you. Goodbye." That kind of thing. The accomplices he would have to have, people say that he would have to have a lot of accomplices to do that. But if he had changed his persona, if he had plenty of money, if he didn't live extravagantly, if he didn't live like he did before, and he was getting help from someone in the government, because look, they're covering this up, past, present, or future. Yeah, I think he could do it. So let's see. Is Jeffrey Epstein still alive? There he is. Self-imposed limitations. The Eight of Swords. Yeah, he's hiding somewhere. I knew it. Let's see. What do we have next? We have the Five of Cups. Well, he's not happy about it. He's lost a lot. He's lost everything, but he's alive and he's not in jail for the rest of his life. So, I'd say that's a win. We have the King of Pentacles. So that's him. He's got plenty of money. He's pretty stable. He's got whatever he wants. He probably still has somebody funneling him girls. Nasty guy. And Death. Just new beginnings. He's just completely away from his old life and is fresh somewhere else. Now, he actually even could be living in the public somewhere if he had changed himself so much and had an entirely new identity and new persona. He could do that. I think it's more likely that he's more isolated, but we'll see for once. Will we ever find out? That's the other thing. Let's see. Celebration, harmony, homecoming. Yeah, he's happy somewhere. And the last one, Temperance. Temperance is upside down. Yeah. He doesn't have to worry about anything. He's well hidden. They're not going to find him. Yeah. Wow. He is still alive. Interesting. Okay, let's see. Let me ask one more question about him. Does Ghislaine Maxwell know where Jeffrey is or know that he's alive? Is that why she's not giving up the list? Oh. Yes. Yeah, he'd probably planned this for years. He knew at some point he could get caught, and they were partners. Yeah, she knows about it. She's pretty tight-lipped, though. And the last thing we have is Five of Pentacles. Okay, this Five of Pentacles is about loss, financial struggles. She's struggling. She's struggling in prison, but she's not going to give him up. Okay. Well, we just got a few more minutes. Let me pull an empowerment card for all of us for the next week. Something we can focus on instead of focusing on the news and all the bad stuff and all the terrible things happening in Ukraine and Iran and Sudan and Rafah. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Yeah, even in our own country. I have one more question I want to ask before I do this. Well, I'm going to do the empowerment card in a minute. I have one more question that just reminded me of it. Will ICE ever be held accountable? You heard about the story about the gentleman who died in California. He was during an ICE raid. He had run to the top of a 30-foot building and had fallen off the building. He was, what's his name? Jamie Alanis, something like that. He was in his 50s. He was the sole provider for his family, his family lived in Mexico. And he would send money back to them. He'd worked at this cannabis farm for about 10 years. And he wasn't, I want to know if ICE is going to be held accountable, because ICE is saying he wasn't in our custody. So it's not our fault that he fell off the roof. He was just running from us. So if they hadn't been there, he wouldn't have fallen off the roof. Are they going to be held accountable for this? Or are they going to get to weasel out of it saying he wasn't in our custody? There have been between 9 and 12 people who have died in ICE custody, and they have not been held accountable. This one was right out in the open and not hidden behind a cell somewhere. And so that's why it's getting so much attention. Okay, let's see. Got 3 cards. The Two of Swords. It's a bad decision. That means no. The Eight of Pentacles, there's a lot of money involved. Keeping ICE going. They've got unlimited power now. with all the money behind them. They have more, what did I hear? They have more money. ICE has more money than Putin's military has in our own country to be used against us. Oh, and the last one, the Three of Swords. Breaking our heart. We were been betrayed. Jamie has been betrayed. And they will not be held accountable for that. You know what's going to happen? I believe that once this Trump administration has gasped its final breath, ICE will just melt away. All those hired guns are going to go back to their neighborhoods and sit and wait for the next time that they can go out and play cops. I heard they're getting $1,000 per person that they round up and get in jail. That's a big incentive. Okay, so, well, I guess I got the answer to that one. Now I'll pull the empowerment card. Let's see if we can find some encouragement for the next week. Let's see what we can focus on that will make our lives better. Okay. Heal is our card. It says, refusing to forgive someone who has wronged you is like cutting yourself and hoping the other person will bleed. Forgive and heal yourself. So heal is our word for the week. And good advice. I'll see you next week, same time, same place, 11 a.m. Sunday. And, I pop up during the week also. I'm just not always live. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.